What is going on, guys? It is Evan from Coaster Revolution. I hope you're having a wonderful day, because today we're doing another amusement park ranking video, and this time it's going to be on Worlds of Fun outside of Kansas City. Now, Worlds of Fun is a smaller owned Cedar Fair park. It doesn't get as much investment as some of the other parks in the chain, but it is still a really solid park, as you're about to find out. So in order to rate the coasters first, make sure you check out the tier list video that I put out on Worlds of Fun already, because I will be referencing that when we are determining the number of quality coasters that they have at the park. So looking at the number of quality coasters from that tier list, they don't have any super elite rides. They do have 2 elite ones, 3 great ones, 1 good one, and 2 okay ones and no bad ones. So as we can see, they don't have any super elite rides, but they also don't have any really bad ones. That's definitely a good thing for Worlds of Fun. They are missing a standout. Like, they definitely have some really good rides here, like Trimless Mamba. Timberwolf really surprised me. Prowler, of course, is a great ride. I think Zambezi Zinger is going to be a really good ride, too. So there's definitely some good quality roller coasters here. They just don't quite have the quantity, I think. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 in terms of the roller coasters at this park. I'm rating it 6.5 because there's not a lot of variety for the rides here. They don't have a launch coaster, which is a huge gap. They're also missing a super elite coaster, which isn't that surprising, but it's still a gap in their lineup. Definitely do have some good quality rides and no bad ones, but again, missing that super elite coaster. They don't have super high quantity at the moment. They have 7. They'll have 8 next year with Zambezi Zinger. So I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10 there. Moving on to ride operations. Now, unfortunately, the ride ops the day that I went to the park were pretty bad. It was a weekend, and it was pretty busy, actually, but there was almost no sense of urgency whatsoever for most of the ride ops. The ride ops on Prowler and Patriot were pretty good, but every other ride was really, really slow, like unnecessarily slow. Now, I'm used to a park like Kings Island that has incredible ride ops, so I didn't set my expectations too high, especially for a smaller park. And I don't think they're normally very rushed or in a hurry because they don't usually have very long lines, but the day that I was there, the lines were super long. It was a busy holiday weekend. Mamba was only running 1 train, and the ride ops were, you know, just taking their sweet time. And it was crazy because it had a 2-hour wait when we were waiting for it, and I really wanted to do it again because Trimless Mamba was that awesome. But there was no way we were going to wait another 2 hours for as slow as those ride ops were being, which is really unfortunate. And same thing with just about every ride. There was just no sense of urgency to get more people through the lines, unfortunately. So I got to stick with a 3 out of 10 for ride ops on that day that I was there. Overall experience I'm going to come back to so I don't spoil anything else I'm about to talk about. Atmosphere. The atmosphere at Worlds of Fun was really good overall. I'm going to give it a 7. It was definitely above average. It felt like a really nice park. It felt clean, safe. There were a lot of families around. It was just a really good time. Everyone was having a lot of fun. Despite there not being a whole lot of different roller coasters, it was a lot of fun, and the atmosphere was really good. The theming helped with it too, that we'll get to here in a minute. The pricing, 8.5 out of 10. The pricing was absolutely awesome. It's such a great park, and it doesn't feel like that too small. Like, it's definitely a smaller Cedar Fair park, but it doesn't feel too small. A ticket to get into the park this past year was only like $30. Like, plus the processing fee is like 35 bucks. But that's an incredible price for any amusement park, especially one that's higher quality. In my opinion, like Worlds of Fun, it's really solid. Like 8.5 out of 10 for pricing. Worlds of Fun it's probably Worlds of Fun's strongest point, is that it's really worth going to this park given the admission price. Now, moving on to staff and park pride, it was definitely a mixed bag while I was there. I'm gonna give them a 6. It was definitely above average, so definitely above a 5 for sure. There were some employees going above and beyond, and there were some that just didn't seem to want to be there. So, as it is at most parks, as it seems, there's usually a mixed bag of people. But overall, I would say it was above average. You know, even the food staff were really nice and helpful. The ride ops were really nice and friendly. Although they weren't moving fast, they were nice and friendly. So yeah, pretty solid on the staff and park pride front, especially for a smaller Cedar Fair park. Now, onto park operations, I gotta give them like 5.5, maybe a 6. Now, we'll say 5.5. Just because a lot of rides didn't open on time. I understand it might not be as much of a priority for a lot of the smaller parks that don't get as huge of crowds. It's very different than what I'm used to, but I'm sticking with a 5.5, slightly above average. It's definitely not poorly run whatsoever, so don't take it that way. But it's not like run like a well-oiled machine like you would see like Kings Island or some other bigger chain parks like Universal or something like that. Moving on to theming. Theming is actually really solid at this park. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. The theming is very basic overall, like theming to different countries, and there's not a ton of detail when it comes to the theming, but it looks really clean, really nice. All of the buildings and a lot of the restaurants fit in with the themed areas, so I was really happy to see that. Just, it looks nice. The park looks really good overall, and it's definitely one of the better themed Cedar Fair parks for sure. So I think I rated some of the other ones like 6 or 7 in terms of the Cedar Fair park's theming, so I would say Worlds of Fun is a little bit better than those at a 7.5 out of 10 for theming. Now moving on to food, it's pretty much on par with the other Cedar Fair parks. There wasn't anything that really stood out to me as being amazing or anything that like stood out to me as bad. It's definitely above average. I would give it a 7 out of 10. We did eat here. We ate at Panda Express because that's just where we were in the park at the time, but it was really good. It was really good quality and we enjoyed it. So jumping quick over to the website to check out some of the food options, we have frozen drinks, alcohol, Auntie Anne's pretzels. Those are always really good, a really good snack if you want one of those. Beach Bites, it looks like they've got like fruit and stuff in the bowls. That looks really good. Vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free stuff. Belly Up Bar, looks like they've got more alcohol options. This looks like a great place to, you know, grab a drink or something if you're of age. The water park seems to be really popular here. We walked through the water park. We didn't spend time there, but it looked like a really solid water park. You got Big Jack's, they got snacks and stuff, the Boulevard Deck, Calypso Cafe. A lot of these places will have your, you know, your typical chicken tenders, burgers and fries. Cinnabon, Coasters Drive-In, again, like burgers and fries. That shake looks really good. That looks like something you'd get at like Hershey Park or something. That looks awesome. They got freestyle machines, Coke Refresh, turkey legs, Dippin' Dots. If you have dietary restrictions, Gorilla Grill looks like a really good option there. Good looking pizza. That picture actually looks good as opposed to the one on the Six Flags St. Louis video. Yeah, Gold Rush Pizza, it all looks good. I really enjoy how a lot of these places are themed to the areas they are in the park. It looks really awesome. Just snack places, funnel cakes, nachos. Panda Express, can never go wrong with Panda Express, and that's in the Oriental section of the park. More pizza, shaved ice, burritos, yeah, more snacks, vegan, vegetarian options, Subway. Surf's Up Pavilion, those sandwiches look really good. That looks awesome. Shakes, and just more snacks in general. So yeah, sticking with a 7 out of 10 for food. They have really decent options, they have healthy options, they have different foods and festivals and stuff themed to the different areas and foods from the different countries, which is really cool. Definitely solid 7 out of 10 above average in this category. Now for cleanliness and landscaping, I'm also going to say this was above average and awesome, like really great, especially for a Cedar Fair park and for any park in general. Like it's an 8 out of 10. Like the landscaping was great. It was clean. The park looked really nice. You know, it's nothing crazy like a Disney or Busch Gardens Williamsburg or anything, which is why I'm not rating it higher than an 8, but it's just really solid, really clean, really nice. You know, I went to the bathroom a few times. Bathrooms were clean. They looked good. Same thing with all of the landscaping. The fountain over by Spinning Dragons looked good. The front entrance plaza looks awesome. Now all they need is a roller coaster going over the front gate like Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. That would be amazing. All right, so now jumping over to the park map of Worlds of Fun to outline the plan of attack that I would do to get all the coasters here in the shortest time possible. So there's a couple different things you could do. You could park in the back by the water park and come through that water park entrance and then go straight to Mamba first. Or you could just come through the front gate, which is what I would do. Just come through the front gate, you get to see all of the scenes and go through the main admission gate. And what I would do is go to the left first. Now you could also go to the right and do Spinning Dragons first thing, because that usually will have a long line and has low capacity. You know, a lot of families and kids like it. But I want to go to the left first because I want to get a ride on Prowler, which is over here off to the left. And ride Prowler first thing. This usually won't have too long of a line. Now, I would want to make sure to get the best coaster here first, just in case it does go down for whatever reason. And honestly, this park doesn't get very crowded, and there's not that many roller coasters here, so you're really not at risk of missing out on any credits as long as they're open. So it really doesn't matter what order you do all these rides in at this park particularly. But I would just start on to the left and then make my way around. And then after Prowler, you'd want to head over and do Boomerang. And then I believe Zambezi Zinger is going to be back here next year. So I think there's going to be something around here. I think it's going to be past Boomerang, and Zambezi Zinger is going to be in like this area. So you'll want to do Boomerang and Zambezi Zinger. I assume that'll have a pretty long wait since it'll be opening in 2023. So you'll probably want to do Zambezi Zinger earlier. But again, I don't know how crowded this park really gets. Especially if you're not there on a weekend, it's probably going to be pretty slow. So after you're done with Boomerang and Zambezi Zinger, what I would do is start heading toward the back of the park and hit up Mamba early if you can. When I was there, they were running the whole track trimless, so they had like no brakes the entire time, which was awesome for the ride, but they were only running one train. And that was so long because it's a pretty long ride. The lift hill takes a while to scale, and the ride-ops were super slow even when people got back to the station. So there was over a 2-hour wait for Mamba. So if you know that they're running one train, I would go to Mamba first thing, honestly. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting for at least an hour for this thing. But if it's running multiple trains, it should be fine, and it usually doesn't have bad capacity in general. So you should be fine getting this later, but if it's running one train and you know it is, then I would go to this early. After Mamba, we're going to head back on towards the left and head over to Timberwolf. Which I honestly... Oh, the station's way back here. So you'll want to get a ride on Timberwolf next. This one also has decent capacity. It shouldn't be too long of a line. I think we waited like 15-20 minutes for it on a busy holiday weekend. So it wasn't too horrible. And after Timberwolf, you will want to head on back and complete the circle and do Patriot over here. Patriot, a solid B&M invert. Probably one of the weaker ones, but still not too bad. And then after Patriot, you also have Spinning Dragons down here back at the front of the park. And again, this one could have a pretty long wait if you do it later in the afternoon. But like I said, there's not a lot of credits here, so you can afford to wait a little bit longer for a couple of rides if you want. Otherwise, you can do Spinning Dragons first thing in the morning if you want to do that as well. But I would prioritize instead getting a ride on Zambezi Zinger earlier, because that one probably will have a long line next season as well. So after you're done with Spinning Dragons, you've done all of the credits here. You know, that's all 7. You also have a kiddie coaster over here. I didn't highlight. It's in blue. Like Cosmic Coaster, I think it is. So you can ride that if you want, or if you have young kids. And then go ahead and get that kiddie credit. But other than that, that's all 8 roller coasters. In terms of what I think this park could really use, they need a launch coaster. Give this park a launch coaster. And honestly, it would be great. They have so much land over back behind Patriot and Steelhawk. They should put like a Vekoma launch coaster back here and make it an incredible standout elite coaster, and that would be absolutely incredible. I think that would be a huge and awesome addition to this park, you know, within the next 10 years. Do I think they're going to do it? No, probably not, but hey, one can dream, right? Now, jumping back over to the spreadsheet to finish up this park rating, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for our overall experience. We had such a great day at the park. It was really solid, definitely above average. The overall verdict, I'm going to say really solid. Really solid park. Definitely one of the smaller ones, so it may not be as high up on your bucket list or whatever. You know, if you're somewhere nearby in the Midwest, or if you're doing a coaster trip, doing the Six Flags St. Louis, Worlds of Fun, Silver Dollar City Triangle, definitely go here. You know, it's definitely worth the price of admission. It's got really above average theming, you know, above average food like most Cedar Fair parks. It was very clean. It's just a really solid park overall. There's nothing too crazy here. The coasters are pretty good. There's no like insane elite coaster here, but they're overall very good, very solid. I love Prowler. It's a great ride. Mamba, if they're still running it trimless, is really good. I'm excited to get on Zambezi Zinger and see how that runs. So definitely have a lot of reasons to visit Worlds of Fun next year. In terms of what they could improve, definitely get this park a Vekoma launch coaster, like an elite Vekoma launch coaster backed by Patriot. That would be absolutely phenomenal and would do great things for this park's lineup of roller coasters. So that would be awesome. And then obviously, if they improve park operations a little bit, this would be an absolutely amazing park. So improve work on ride ops and, you know, park pride, park operations in general, and then maybe one more roller coaster, you know, make it an elite launch coaster, and this would be an absolutely phenomenal park. But overall, really solid park. I'm very glad and happy to have visited Worlds of Fun, and hopefully you get a chance to visit there someday yourself. Anyways, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe for more roller coaster content coming your way twice a week. I hope every one of you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.